to a DNA detection booth. Today we're going to be learning about how to use DNA to identify different organisms in seawater. So we're most interested in fish eggs. Does anyone know or have ever seen a fish egg before in the water? So fish have different life stages, typically starting with an egg. Most species of fish release their eggs into the water and they float like balloons to the surface where we can collect them. Eggs then transform into larvae or hatch into larvae later on in their lives. Then they transform into juveniles, which look like a mini version of an adult. And then when they grow a little bit older, they become adults, which look like a fully formed fish. That is the whole life cycle of a fish species. So this is what fish eggs look like. They're very small, like the size of the tip of a pencil, and they all look the same. So if you were to look at this, could you tell me which species these fish eggs are? Neither can I, so don't be worried. All of these eggs in here could be from different species from the Gulf of Mexico. You may ask yourself, how the heck do we collect these? We can go out on a boat and use something like this, which is called a plankton net, to collect fish eggs along the top of the ocean surface. We basically scoop the water through the net and it gets collected in the end in a jar like this. And then from there we can look under a microscope to pick out the different eggs because they're very small. There's also lots of other things in here called plankton. And plankton are microscopic organisms that live around the surface of the ocean. Once we have our eggs, what do we do with them? If I can't identify them using their physical characteristics, then we have to use their DNA. Do you know what DNA is? DNA is genetic material that all living things have. And so we can use DNA from each of these eggs to tell you exactly what species or which animal they came from. So that's what our activity is about today. So we're going to go and do the activity right now over in our pool. Come along. Use a net, since we're not going to be using a plankton net, we'll use a net like this to collect a fish egg. It can be difficult. There's all these different animals in here we have to try to avoid. We got one. We then break open the egg to release the DNA. DNA is made up of 4 different letters, but we've used beads to identify different colors instead. So we have to translate it or decipher the code into DNA. Let's do it. We start with the red end and put it on our decipher code sheet. We can then change each of the colors into letters. Great job. Now let's use our decipher sheet to figure out which fish species we got. We have TGGC. I don't see it on this board. Let's try the other one. TGGAT. I found it. We have a snapper. Let's double check the code. That looks right. Let's get our coloring sheet. Could you help me find my coloring sheet? I got a snapper.
A snapper? Those are yummy.
Oh.
Here you go.
Awesome. Snappers have canine-like teeth, making them look like vampires of the ocean. Economically, red snapper is the most valuable fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Cool.
You can also get a sticker.
Thank you. Thanks for learning about DNA detectors today.